Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please confirm in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your confirmations. Yeah. Thank you. Let's stop the chat. Okay. What's the plan for today's session? Our plan for today's session is to understand the concept of status checks. Understand the concept of status checks, protecting the instance from accidental termination, scale up, scale down, scale in, scale out. This is also called as horizontal scaling and vertical scaling, attaching and detaching the volumes and snapshots. This is our plan for our today's session. This is our agenda for today's session. I think snapshots we may not cover, but let's see. These are my plans to cover for today's session. So as usual, before getting into the concepts of today's session, let's have a quick interaction. Okay. Sharat Babu, good morning. Sharat Babu, I can see your hand raised. You are allowed to unmute and talk. Okay. Good morning, Siri.
Hi, Sunil.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, my friend wants to join next session for AWS. May I know when it is going to start? I have a couple of questions in that. It is one of that.
Next batch, you mean to say?
Yes, I mean next session.
Next batch, not session. Next session is tomorrow. Okay.
I mean,
Next
sorry.
batch.
Yeah.
Next batch will start after 20 days or 25 days. Okay. So ask him to join the existing group so that he get the updates about the new group. Okay.
Perfect, perfect. The
Okay.
second question is, I'm completely from operations. I
Okay.
have 6 years of experience. My
Okay.
question is, after attending this session, if I properly listen, can I attend interviews, or do I need to learn anything else apart from this?
As you're from operations team, I recommend you to learn DevOps after this.
Okay.
Okay. So because once you learn DevOps, you can project yourself as a DevOps engineer having AWS exposure. It will be very good profile.
Okay.
Okay.
But the thing here is, I'm completely out of IT background. Can I cope up with all this?
Operations, this is what kind of operations you are involved in your previous experience?
Actually, firstly, for 2 years I worked for support. After that, from third year, I mean, I was working for CDK Global, which is into installs, etc., etc. It is related to that. I have never worked
No,
for IT.
yeah, I know CDK Global. It is in Raheja
My,
Mindspace, right? Okay,
yes, yes.
okay. Okay.
So that's the reason for me coding is completely different. I'm not from IT background as well, but still slowly I was
That's fine.
trying.
That's fine. You can learn DevOps, okay, and then get into AWS and DevOps industry. Siri, okay. So my recommendation is to learn DevOps.
Okay, sure, definitely. Thank you so much, Sunil.
Thank you. Zahir, good morning.
Hi, Sunil. Thanks for the classes, and it's going really good.
Thank you, Zahir. You know AWS, or is it the first time you're learning?
I know AWS, but I couldn't practice. It's been 3 years. I had few videos which I have gone through. But after that, due to my project, I'm into storage from last 6-7 years.
SAN storage?
SAN storage.
Okay. Okay.
And I have gone through a few videos, and I have practiced 2-3 years back.
Okay.
After due to high pressure plus too much work in storage, I couldn't practice.
Okay.
And my question is, in load balancer, we just looked into a classic one. We couldn't go into
Network load balancer or an application load balancer. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
If time permits, we will do that because this is associate level training. Okay.
Yeah.
So that comes under professional level training. But in case if I find time, definitely I will discuss on it.
Yeah, sure. And are we going into Redshift, Lambda, serverless, this thing?
No,
Or
no. That's not the set of services. In the WhatsApp group, you have course contents here. Okay. So we will be covering those set of contents. Okay.
okay, but for certification, is it required?
Associate level, this is enough.
Okay, yeah, sure.
If you're looking for associate level, this training is designed for it. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. So thanks a lot.
I think
Thank
more Zahir. So how is your experience now learning? Are you doing hands-on?
Yes,
now?
but I'm parallelly doing as and when you are
Better, best.
I'm, yeah,
So that you can gain knowledge. Once you practice, then only we can retain the concepts. Otherwise, we generally forget.
yes,
Zahir.
Sunil.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I hope you will enjoy the training, rest of the training.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks a lot.
Subhash Duvuri, good morning.
Hello. Hi, Sunil.
Yeah. Yes, Subhash, how are you doing? How is your learning experience?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, and the meetings are really helpful, and they're understandable to a layman as well. So,
Thank you. Yes, your question.
Yeah, my question was yesterday you mentioned that through SNS we could able to send notifications once a new instance has been started after the load on the existing ones are full.
Yep.
So do we have any such notifications if the new instance, if while the new instance is being started, there's any issue with that? In the real time, we might have several issues. Like for whatever reason.
Whenever the new instance gets started, the main instance may have some issues, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are called as status checks. So that's what we are discussing now. Okay. Every instance should pass 2 checks. And how can we troubleshoot in case the status checks does not pass? We will see it now.
Okay. I thought so. Once I've seen your today's agenda. Okay, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything more, Swash?
Nothing else, Sunil. Thank you.
Yeah. From which location your experience?
I'm from Hyderabad, and I'm having 9 years of experience and I'm working for e-commerce domain. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Subhash.
Thanks a lot.
Let's have one more interaction and get into the concept. Nikhila G. Can you hear me, Nikhila? Your question, please. If you're not having questions, please do not raise your hand. You have to unmute, Nikhila, and then you can speak. Good evening, Kelvin.
Yeah, I want to ask a question about the Amazon machine image. I don't know the one that you had on the node. It couldn't go to me. I did all the process to an end. It never went through. I thought maybe because I used a different one.
You have to use the same AMI, not a different one. Okay. The Amazon machine image, which I have used it in my example, Kelvin.
Yeah. Yes.
the Amazon mission image which I have used in my example. Look at this. This is the AMI which I have used in my example. I recommend you to use the same AMI because there are few AMIs does not support auto scaling, Kelvin.
Yeah,
Okay.
I use that, and it says that do not exist. I searched that on my screen on my account. It didn't come up.
You can do one thing: switch your region to Mumbai and try it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay, that's okay. Anything more, Kelvin?
No, that's it.
Clear. Thank you. Let's get into the concepts. We'll be discussing about status checks, protecting the instance from accidental termination, scaling up, scaling down, and then attaching and detaching volumes, and then snapshots. There are a lot of things to be discussed. And quick information, we are starting a new DevOps batch in next week. Okay, so the course details, the fees, the course content, and the WhatsApp group is already posted in the chat box. Interested can join the DevOps training starting from 21st, the next week, Tuesday. Okay, let's proceed. Whenever we create an EC2 mission, whenever we create an EC2 mission, the EC2 mission should pass two checks. The EC2 mission should pass two checks: system status check, instance status check. Okay, every EC2 mission should pass two checks. One is system status check, the other one is instance status checks. Okay, so where exactly we can see the status of the checks? Let's experience practically. Let's log into AWS account. Let's log into AWS. Yes. So we have existing instances. Do not worry about the existing instances. You can see we have total 9 instances. That's fine. Let us go ahead and create a new instance. Whenever you create a new instance, every instance should pass two checks. What are the two checks it should pass? System status check and instance status check. Let's experience it. Launch instances. Amazon Linux. T2 micro, only one instance. Okay, take the default, click on launch. Create a new key pair. So some key pair anyways will not connect to this mission. Downloading the key pair and launch instances. View instances. Okay. The moment I have created a mission, where exactly it is available, let's look at this. You can see the mission is at the bottom. Okay. So can you see status check? See, it is still initializing. Okay. So let's wait for the status checks. Generally, you get a 2 out of 2 checks passed. Let's wait for the status checks to get updated. Meanwhile, let's have a quick discussion. Every EC2 mission, when you create it, it should pass 2 checks. One is a system status check. The other one is instance status check. Okay. So generally, you get 2 out of 2 passed. What does that mean? This means both the status checks are successfully passed. That means your instance is perfectly running. You may sometimes get 1 out of 2 passed. This means one check is passed and one check is failed. We may get 0 out of 2 passed. That means both the status checks are failed. So these are the three possible cases, isn't it? Generally, we get 2 out of 2 passed. 99%, 99%, you will get 2 out of 2 checks passed. Okay, 1 out of 100, there are cases there will be one check will be passed and one check will be failed. So there are very rare cases where both the checks will be failed. So how can we troubleshoot it? If there are two out of two checks passed, then this is perfectly working. This is perfect. You don't need to worry about this. There are cases where you are getting 1 out of 2 checks passed. Okay. So when you get 1 out of 2 checks passed, that means one check is failed and one check is passed. Which one is failed and which one is passed? So this means system status check is passed. Instance status check is failed. That's the meaning of it. Okay. The meaning of 1 out of 2 checks passed is nothing but system state. The meaning of this, you have to interpret that, you have to understand that whenever you're getting 1 out of 2 checks passed, you should be sure that the system status check is passed and instance status check is failed. System status check is related to hardware. Instance status check is related to operating system. Here, what is happening, instance status check is failed. That means the operating system is unable to load into the instance properly. Okay, so the meaning of 1 out of 2 checks passed, the meaning of 1 out of 2 checks passed is that there is some problem with the operating system now is not properly loaded into the EC2 machine. So that's the reason instance status check failed you. So the solution what you have to do is to restart the instance. When you restart the instance, what happens again? The fresh operating system gets loaded, then both the checks will be passed. I'm also showing you how to troubleshoot the cases. These are the three possible cases: 2 out of 2 checks passed, 1 out of 2, 0 out of 2 passed. You can see now the result. I have created a new EC2 machine. What you're getting, 2 out of 2 checks passed. That means both the checks are passed. 99%. In fact, 99.9% both will be passed. There are cases one check will be passed and one check will be failed. If you're getting this status, that means definitely you have to be sure that the system status check is passed, instance status check is failed. And the solution, what you have to do is to restart the instance. How do you restart the instance? Select the instance, go to actions, in status, instance state, there's an option called reboot. Rebooting is nothing but restarting the instance. When you restart the instance, again, you get the problem will be fixed. It understands that the instance is loading is failing, so it again reloads it. You may have a question, Sunil, what is the guarantee that the system status check is passed? You can also see that the system status check can be failed and instance status check can be passed. It could be either way, isn't it? 1 out of 2 is passed. That means one is failed and one is passed. What's the guarantee that the system is passed? System can also be failed, isn't it? Yes. Now I am answering your question. When you're getting 0 out of 2 passed, that means both are failed. When you're getting 0 out of 2 checks passed, that means both are failed. So this means that the system status check failed. When system status check fails, automatically instance will also fail. When system status check fails, automatically the instance status check will also fail, because system status is related to hardware failure, and hardware is not properly working. Operating system will not load into the hardware. So when system status check fails, or definitely instance will not be loaded. As per the AWS documentation, when the system status check fails, operating system will not be loaded. When operating system is not loaded, instance status check will also be failed. In such case, we get 0 out of 2 passed. System status check is always dependent on, instance status check is dependent on system status check. When system status check fails, automatically instance status check will also fail. So what you have to do, you have to stop the machine. The solution, what you have to do is to stop the machine and again start the machine. You may have a question, what happens when you stop and start the machine? AWS understands that there's some problem with the hardware. AWS, this is AWS cloud hardware. Let's say you have created one instance. Let's say you have created one instance, and then when you're creating the instance, it has a system status check failed. That means the operating system, sorry, hardware failure. So what happens when you stop the machine? And when you start the machine will be using a different hardware. The machine will be using a different hardware. The machine does not run it on the same hardware. It automatically moves to a different hardware. As it is different hardware, the hardware will not fail and hardware will be successfully passed. That means the system status check passes and automatically instance will be loading on the proper hardware and then it gets resolved. So that is how we have to troubleshoot in case of status checks. In an interview, they may ask you, do you know about status check? You should be in a position to answer. Every EC2 machine when we create should pass two checks. One is called a system status check. The other one is instance status check. System status check is related to hardware failure, and instance status check is related to operating system. If operating system fails, then you get 1 out of 2 passed. If hardware fails, 0 out of 2 passed. If hardware fails, obviously operating system will also fail. So if hardware fails, then 0 out of 2 checks pass. The solution what you have to do is to stop and start the machine. In case if instance status check fails, you just reboot the instance. That's enough. So this is about a quick discussion about status checks. You can also see the information about the status check of a specific machine. We have a tab called status check tab. Select a particular machine. So I have selected the new machine which I have created. If you want to know more information about the status checks, you can see we have a tab called as status checks tab. You can see system status check and then instance status check. Both are in green color. Both are in green color. Both are successfully passed. You can also know which one is passed and which one is failed. Anything fails, you get it in red color. If instance status check fails, we get it red color. The solution, what you need to do is to restart the instance. If system status check fails, definitely instance will also fail. So the solution, what you have to do is to restart, stop the instance and start the instance so that it gets moved into the new hardware. I hope I am very clear in the concept of status checks. Any questions on the status checks, please raise your hand. Ramanamurthy, yes.
Yes, Sunil. If you want to see the troubleshooting steps, or if you want to do any OS level troubleshooting, can I get the console for this?
No. When operating system, when can you get into the console? When the instance is successfully passed both the checks, and then only you can get into the console. Okay. So you cannot get into the console and troubleshoot the operating system. Okay. So the only solution what you have to do is to restart the instance. Okay.
Imagine if I want to change the boot order. So like maybe I want to use it with the network boot or kind of different boot orders when you load the OS operating system. So in such case, how can I change those things?
First point, as of now, generally boot order will be from the pen drive or a CD or a network. Agree? Isn't
yes.
it? The
yes.
default one is from the hard drive because
Correct.
here we don't have a facility to enjoy connecting the hardware to the EC2 machine. Agree? You cannot do that physically because it is a remote machine. Am I right, Ramanamurthy? Okay.
Yes.
So the only option which you have is how to boot from the network. That's it only. So we have two options, isn't it? The normal booting and booting from the network. So that how it can handle, we'll discuss at the concept of when we're learning about the VPC networking concepts.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything more clear about the status checks, Ramana?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we should know that every EC2 machine should pass the status checks, and you can see the information about the status checks. So this is about status checks. Let's move on to the next point: protecting the instance from accidental termination. Let's say this is an instance. As per the client requirement, we have created instance, and then as per the requirement, we have installed some specific softwares and we have done a lot of configurations, and the client is happy with this particular instance. Let's say client is happy, they have deployed some applications, the client is very happy with this particular instance. And client says that this particular instance is very, very important for us. So we make sure that this instance is perfectly running. We don't want any surprises, or we don't want any issues from the AWS team. The only issue what you may get it is in case humans can make an error. If by mistake, let's say instead of stopping the instance, okay, by mistake, if anybody terminates the instance, you cannot recover it. Terminating is nothing but permanently removing the instance. Okay, we cannot recover it. So if client says that a specific instance is very important, it's always better to protect the instance from accidental termination. So by mistake, humans, not only you may have a AWS team of 10 resources, but any one resource may by mistake terminate the instance. That will be a big complaint from the client. So how can we protect the instance from the accidental termination? Okay, so you can do that. So let's say, for example, this particular new instance which I've just now created is a very, very important instance. Let's say, assume that I have installed some set of softwares. I have done a lot of configurations. A client is very, very happy with this particular instance, and it's always better to protect this particular instance. Okay, how can we protect the instance? Actions, instances setting. There is an option called termination protection, and I want to enable the termination protection. Yes. The termination protection is enabled to this particular EC2 machine. As the protection is enabled, if anybody tries to terminate, are you sure you want to terminate? When you click on yes, so it's disabled. Okay, you are unable to terminate here. It is disabled. These instances have termination protection and will not be terminated. So we can avoid abnormal terminations, and you can avoid this risk by applying protection. Very simple. So that's how you can protect the instance. If you want to remove the protection, disable the protection. Now I have disabled the protection. Now you can terminate it as the protection is disabled. Are you sure you want it? Now it is active. You can disable it. Okay, I'm not disabling it. So it's a simple step, but very important. If anybody asks you about how can we protect the instance from accidental termination, we can do that. Okay. Let's move on to next concept. Scale up, scale down, scale in, scale out. It is also called as vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So this is very important. Let's try to understand this particular vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So I'm naming it as machine 1. That's fine. Okay. Mohan Reddy. Good morning. Your question.
Yeah, hi Sunil. How are you?
Doing well, Mohan. How are you doing, and how is your learning experience?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm thank you very much for these sessions. Okay. Actually, I already tried this AWS.
You already have learned AWS.
Yes, 2 years back.
Okay.
Okay. But I haven't worked these sessions, so that's why I joined your session.
Okay.
It's very good.
It's a good revision.
Yes. My question is already before one person is already asked. Again, my question is, see, it is keep on not booting up. Okay.
Which one is not booting it?
Instance check is not passed. Okay. So it's keep on. You are telling that
you have to restart the instance.
Yeah. See. Yeah. It's keep on failing.
No, it will not fail.
No. Something.
It doesn't happen. These are not operating systems. These are AMIs. These are images.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe one time it may fail. One time
but
if it is really repeatingly, even though you restart, but still the instance is fail, you can talk to AWS customer care. Okay. So always AWS you have
console is not like in VMware.
Console does not,
right?
as long as the instance is status checks are passed, it's always once you have to pass it, then you can get into the console. Okay.
Okay.
100. Okay.
Yeah,
in case if you even though if it's continuously instance status check is problem, then you have to raise a ticket to the AWS team, so they will resolve
because
it.
why I am asking I am from Linux environment.
Okay.
So I am almost 10 years of experience in Linux side. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So AWS team will fix that issue. We don't need to worry about this. Okay.
Okay. So we will raise ticket with AWS team, so they will check
it.
manually.
You are right.
Yeah.
We'll troubleshoot.
Thank you.
Make sure that the instance status check is perfectly working. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thank you. And one more thing, Sunil.
Yes.
Can please send this DevOps information in WhatsApp group?
In the chat box, I have already posted. Okay. You will get that in the WhatsApp group also. This AWS, this particular group also, you will get that. Are you in this WhatsApp group, Mohan?
Yes. I'm already in WhatsApp group.
Then you get the updates. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Syed Hussain.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Thanks for allowing me.
Thank you, and nice to talk to you. Yes, your question.
Unfortunately, I think I was under the impression that I'm having a technical issue with muting and unmuting.
No, it's not the case. As it is a webinar, as there are a lot of participants joining, so it is in my control. Okay. You have raised the hands. I have randomly picked up some participants and I'm having the discussion. Okay,
cool. Sunil, I have joined, yesterday itself. Unfortunately, somehow the information came to me a bit late, and I registered, and I thought it is starting from 13th, and somehow I missed previous things.
Today is the sixth session, as you can see now. Today is day 6.
Yeah, I just want to ensure that I don't lose all that previous things also. So is there any new batch starting up for this, or alternatively I can if you can just allow me to join that group, WhatsApp group, and
you're talking about the new batch group.
Yeah, is there a new batch coming up?
New batch is not yet decided the date and time. It will start after 20 days. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So what I recommend you get the recordings. If you pay 999 rupees, you get the recordings, all the recordings from the first day. Okay. So that you can learn by yourself using the recordings, or whatever the sessions you have missed, let's say first 5 sessions or 6 sessions, you can anyways join in the next batch. Okay. But I strongly recommend you to continue this batch rather than wasting time and waiting for the next batch.
True. I really want to do that. I had I had an issue with joining that group chat as well, WhatsApp group chat. And yesterday you suggested me to send a separate note, and I had sent it. If you can kindly add me to the group.
So you are not in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, I'm not yet into the WhatsApp group. I mean, please. I had an issue. You gave me a link yesterday, right? Joining group link.
Yeah.
It was throwing an error.
1 minute, please. Give me some time. So send right now. We'll troubleshoot it. So I have just sent you, Hussein, in the chat box, a WhatsApp group link.
Okay. This I'll have to move to my from the phone. I'll have to connect it, right?
Yeah. Please pick up that link and save it in your notepad or somewhere. Okay. And then you can join from your phone, or you can join using WhatsApp web. Okay.
Exactly. I had the same thing done yesterday, Sunil, and that's what I could not join. And you had asked me to send a separate note. I WhatsApp. I sent an WhatsApp to you separately. So if
is it the same link?
Yeah, same link. I think so. Yeah, it is the same link. Yesterday you gave me the same link, perhaps.
I'm not sure about the link. So let's try with this. Otherwise, I will add you manually. Ping me on WhatsApp. I'll add you manually. Okay. Any technical questions, Syed?
At the moment, I don't have anything as such. I'll just pick it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This is very important point. We need to know about scaling up, scaling down, scale in, scale out. It's also called as horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So what do you mean by this? Let's try to understand. This is horizontal axis. Am I right? Yes. X axis. This is vertical axis. Agree? Y axis. Okay. Let's try to understand the concept of horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Can we have a talk, Rohini?
Sure, sir.
We have created one EC2 machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can see the EC2 machine which we have just now created, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the hardware configuration of this particular EC2 machine which we have just now created?
I think it's 1 GB RAM or like.
You're right, 1 GB RAM and 1 processor.
Oh.
And I think it is 8 GB storage.
8 GB.
That is the hard drive. Okay. This is the hardware configuration of the existing EC2 machine. Okay. Now, When you want to increase the hardware configuration, you don't want 1 GB RAM. Your requirement is now, let's say you want 4 GB RAM, okay, and 2 CPUs, okay, and then not 8 GB. You want 10 GB storage. It can be anything, 10 GB or 20 GB. So you want to increase the hardware configuration. Increasing the hardware configuration of existing instance, okay, is called as vertical scaling. Okay.
Okay.
You are doing on vertical scaling. So you're topping up, isn't it? Something like a top up. You're adding it, adding the
Correct.
hardware to the existing instance. That is called as a vertical scaling. Okay. Now I'm showing you how can we increase the hardware configuration of the existing instance. This is the existing instance, and we are very clear. It is instance is of type T2 micro. That means this particular instance comes with 1 GB RAM. This is the existing configuration. We already know it. Now my requirement is I want to increase the RAM. All the hardware configuration is 3 aspects only, Rohini. RAM, CPU, and hard disk. That's it. There's nothing more, isn't it, Rohini? So
Yes, sir.
I want to start with increasing the, I want to show you how can we increase the volume. Okay, this particular part. Right now, the current store hard disk is 8 GB. Okay, now I want to increase my hard disk space to 10 GB. So first I want to show you how to increase the hard disk. Okay.
Okay.
Point number 1. Whenever we create an EC2 machine, every EC2 machine will have a volume attached to it.
Correct.
Whenever we create an EC2 machine, every EC2 machine will have a volume attached to it. How many EC2 machines are there in our dashboard? You can see there are 10 EC2 machines available in our dashboard, Rohini. You can see there are 10 EC2 machines. Okay. Now you can see in the left side, we can see an option called volumes. You can also see that there are volumes here. Okay. Volumes are nothing but hard disk. Till now we have never discussed about the volumes. This is the first time we are discussing about this term called volume. Whenever you create an EC2 machine, whenever you're creating an EC2 machine, automatically a volume will be attached to it. For example, I'll show you. When you're creating an instance using the launch instances, first step you select the operating system. Second step you select the instance type. Third step you will mention the number of instances. Fourth step is storage. Storage is nothing but, can you see here? Volume.
Yeah.
So whenever you're creating an EC2 machine, it will create a volume to that particular EC2 machine. And you can see the volume size is how much? 8 GB.
8 GB.
So whenever you create an EC2 machine, every EC2 machine will have a volume to it. Okay. For example, this is the machine 1. I want to know the volume of this particular information. So whenever you want to know the information about the volume, I have selected the machine. You can see the machine 1 is selected. Scroll down. Can you see root device? This root device is nothing but the volume. So I'm selecting this. The moment I select this, you will be directed to volumes. Okay.
Okay.
This is the block device. This is the EBS volume. Okay. And you got the volume ID. This is the volume ID. Every volume will have a unique ID that is called as a volume ID. I'm taking a note of my volume ID. I'm taking a note of the volume ID. So, and then I can track that particular volume ID, or I can click that. Okay. So as I now know the volume ID, I go to volumes. So these are the volumes. In the one more point, it's easy to track it. You can track it by using the volume ID, or you can also track like this. When you scroll this particular volumes, you can see some volumes are in the attachment information. You can clearly see this volume is used by which EC2 machine.
Correct.
Are you understanding the attachment information? The attachment information is all about which volume is attached to which EC2 machine. I have created one EC2 machine. The name of the machine is machine 1. And can you see this is the volume? The last one is a volume, okay, of that particular machine 1. So in the attachment information, you can see which EC2 machine is used by which volume. Okay, this is the volume which is used by our machine. Okay, and what is the status of, what is the size of the volume?
8 GB.
8 GB. Now what is my plan? I want to increase the hardware configuration. The 8 GB volume, I want to increase it to 10 GB.
Okay.
Actions, we have a concept called modify volume. Pretty simple. Mention the size to 10 GB and finally modify.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to modify the volume? Yes. Volume modify volume request succeeded. So I have requested AWS to allocate not 8 GB. I have requested AWS to allocate 10 GB. So 2 more GB will be added. It will be updated in no time. Click on refresh.
Okay.
Now, can you see, Rohini, previously the volume was 8 GB. Now I have increased it to 10
Right.
GB. Did I increase the hard disk capacity of my EC2 machine? Yes, we can increase the hard disk capacity of the EC2 machine by dealing the concept of volumes. Whenever we create an EC2 machine, a volume will be created automatically. Whenever you want to increase the hard disk, volume is nothing but hard disk. When you want to increase the hard disk, you go to the volumes and then you can modify the volume. At the same time, you can decrease the volume also. That's not a problem. Am I clear how to increase the hard disk? Okay. And one more point of observation, we have increased the hard disk when the machine is in running state. We have not stopped the machine. The machine is already in the running state. At runtime, you can increase the volume.
Oh,
At runtime, you can increase the volume. So you don't need to worry about machine status. Okay, you don't need to stop the machine. Automatically at the running state, we have increased the volume. So I have explained you how can we increase the hardware configuration of volume. The next thing what we should know is to how to increase the hardware configuration of CPU and RAM. RAM and CPU, these two components are pending. If you want to increase the RAM and CPU, you have to stop the machine. It cannot be done at runtime.
okay.
Only volumes you can modify it at runtime. But whereas if you want to modify the RAM and CPU, you have no other option. You have to stop the machine and then increase the RAM and CPU. So let's stop the machine. This is the machine.
Mhm. So in case, sir, if the machine is fully overloaded with there is no space left out with the machine, in that case also we can power off the machine and we can provide the, provide the more value.
You're
CPU.
talking about hard disk or a CPU and RAM?
Both, sir.
Anything. Yes, you can stop it even though the machine is almost full, but you can stop the machine and you can you can upgrade the hardware.
Okay.
Right now, what I'm doing here for changing the RAM and CPU, so I am stopping the instance.
Mhm. I think when we stop and restart the machine, it will change the public IP of the
Public
machine.
IP are subjected to change. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. If you don't want to change the public IPs, we need to allocate static IP.
Okay.
Let's wait for the machine to be stopped. Once the machine is stopped, then we can increase the RAM and CPU.
Okay.
Yes, the machine is now stopped. I want to increase the RAM and CPU. In AWS, RAM and CPU both goes together.
Okay.
Okay, RAM and CPU both goes together. You cannot say that I just want to increase the RAM or something like that. Both goes together. This combination is nothing but called as instance type. RAM and CPU is nothing but instance type.
Correct.
So right now, if you see the EC2 machine, which we have just planning to upgrade, this is of T2 micro instance. So what you have to do, you have to change the instance type. So actions, instances settings. There's a concept of changing the instance type.
Okay.
Right now, what is the current instance? It is of type T2
Micro.
micro. Now you can change to T2 medium.
Okay.
I'm changing to T2 medium. Click on apply. I have changed the instance type. Previously, all the instances are T2 micro. I have changed it from T2 micro to T2 medium. What is the T2 medium status? If you want to see the instance types, here we have an option called instance type, where you can get the documentation of instance type. So what do you want to know about T2 medium? T2 medium is nothing but how much memory? 4 GB. And how many CPUs?
2 CPUs.
So here we have a documentation of all the instance type. Let's say if you want 16 GB RAM also, you can do that. It's up to you. Okay, you can change to. If you select T2 extra large, then that EC2 machine will comes with 16 GB RAM and 4 CPUs. So all it goes together. The combination of CPUs and memories goes together in AWS. AWS provided different combinations as per the different client requirements. You can select any of the combination and change the instance type. I have successfully changed my instance type. Once I change my instance type, then I can start the instance and clients can use the instance. Got it?
Got it, sir. There is no limitation to provide the different values and
yes, you can have You can have an instance of 256 GB RAM memory also. You can have 512 GB memory also. That's not at all a problem. Okay. So you can change the instance type, and then one more important point: T2 micro instances are eligible for free tier. T2 medium instance is not eligible for free tier. So we are using T2 medium instance. So I will get the bill. Okay. But that's the point. So, but I have shown you how to increase the hardware configuration about the existing instance. Increasing the hardware configuration is, you need to think about only 3 hardware components. One is hard disk, RAM, and CPU. Hard disk is about dealing with volumes. RAM and CPU goes combination together by using the instance type. We have changed successful instance type from T2 micro to T2 medium. Okay. So for changing the instance type, you have to stop the machine. But if you want to change the volume, you can do it at runtime. I am very clear in explaining you how can we increase the hardware configuration of existing machines. Okay. This is called as vertical scaling. Okay, because you are doubling the hardware configuration of existing machines. That is called as a vertical scaling. Clear about scale up?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And this is very much clear.
So what I have discussed is scale up. Scaling up is nothing but increasing the hardware configuration. What is scale down?
Reducing the hardware.
Reducing. Right now, what we have done is we have increased the RAM to 4 GB and 2 CPU. Now, can you decrease it? Same way, stop the instance and change the instance type and downgrade the instance. In the same way, volume also you can reduce the volume. Got it, Rohini? So scale up is nothing but increasing the hardware configuration. Scale down is nothing but decreasing the hardware configuration of existing instance. This is called as vertical scaling. What I have just explained is vertical scaling. So vertical scaling is all about increasing or decreasing the hardware configuration of existing machine. That is called as vertical scaling. Now, in the interview, they'll ask you, what is horizontal scaling? Can you guess, Rohini? What is horizontal scaling?
Not sure on this, sir. Increasing the instances.
You are right. It is increasing the instances. Okay. Look at this.
Okay.
What do you mean by horizontal scaling? When we, in the last session, we have discussed about auto scaling, Rohini. Okay.
Correct.
In the auto scaling, what is happening here is, so we have a load balancer, isn't it? We have a load balancer and there are some existing machines. Let's say there are 1, 2, 3 machines. Okay. Load balancer is receiving the traffic and then it is distributing to the existing targets. Okay. And then auto scaling, what we have done, we have defined 2 alarms. When the average CPU utilization is more than 80%. So what we are doing, we are not increasing the hardware configuration of existing machine. We are altogether creating a new machine. We are altogether creating a new machine to handle the load.
Okay.
Very important point. We are not, we are in auto scaling. In auto scaling, we are not changing the configuration of existing EC2 machines. In the auto scaling, altogether we are adding a new unit. That means we are altogether adding a new EC2 machine, and that EC2 machine is also taking the load. This concept of increasing the infrastructure by adding more units rather than disturbing the existing infrastructure is called as what? Horizontal scaling. Example of horizontal scaling is auto scaling. Very important interview point of view. Auto scaling feature, does it comes under vertical scaling or horizontal scaling? It is very obvious. Auto scaling comes under horizontal scaling because we are not disturbing the infrastructure of existing hardware. We are completely altogether creating a new EC2 machine. So that's why it is called as a horizontal scaling. Clear, Rohini? Yes, I hope I am very clear in explaining vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is all about increasing the hardware configuration of existing EC2 machine. Yeah. Horizontal scaling is all about creating a new EC2 machines altogether.
In the horizontal scaling, sir, it should be a replica of the previous instance, or like we can provide the.
It generally will be a replica based on the launch configuration which you have defined it, isn't it, Rohini? Okay, so all the instances will be of same type.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I hope I am very clear in explaining the difference between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Scale up, scale down. This comes under, up is nothing but vertical. Scale in and scale out is horizontal. Out is nothing but increasing the number of missions. Scale in is nothing but decreasing the number of missions. Okay, so this is about horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Any questions on the concept of horizontal scaling and vertical scaling? Any questions, please raise your hand. Sheikh Usama. Yes, Sheikh Usama, you are allowed to talk. Okay. Kishore Sanam.
Hi, Sunil. Good morning.
Good morning, Kishore. How are you doing? You're from which
Yeah,
location?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good. You're from which
Yeah,
city?
I'm from Hyderabad,
Mhm.
and I have like a four years of experience into Java.
Okay. So any specific reason you are a Java developer? Why are you learning AWS?
Because actually these days I'm like hearing from many sources like we're totally moving to cloud technologies like Azure or AWS. So I'm just thinking to have it in my profile as well.
Very good. Okay.
So I have this question as well, like what is the roadmap for Java developer for the transition?
No. First point, are you looking for transition? Transition is, but are you planning to leave Java platform and get into cloud?
Like first of all, I'm looking for possibilities like being a Java developer can handle both. If that is not possible, maybe then.
No, it is possible. There are many people from the development background switching to cloud. Okay. So you can definitely end up into cloud platform. So I strongly recommend, as I said many times, I strongly recommend to learn DevOps also. DevOps is all about combination of development team and operations team. As you're from the development team, you can take the advantage of DevOps. In case if you're migrating, planning to migrate, then definitely I recommend you to learn both the courses, whatever you're learning AWS now, followed with DevOps, so that you can shift your profile to cloud and DevOps.
Totally from developer to the operation.
Yes, you can do that. Not operations, it's a DevOps. DevOps is altogether different. Okay. Okay.
And actually, one more question with respect to today's session was, so we
with
have today's session, like this volumes part. So actually, you have just modified the existing volume, right?
Yes.
So actually,
existing volume was 8 GB. I have increased it to 10 GB.
10 GB. So actually, I have seen one more option, like while we are creating instances, there also we can see like add volume.
Yes.
So is that one more way of?
That's what is the next point: attaching the volume and detaching the volume. Okay.
Okay.
So
fine.
Whenever you're creating instances, generally we are in the impression that one EC2 machine can have only one volume, but it's not the case. One EC2 machine can have multiple volumes also. So we'll be seeing that in the next point.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Kishore.
Thank you.
How is your learning experience in AWS?
Yes, I'm attending this session since day one, and I'm feeling good. Really, I'm grateful to my friend and you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more interaction before getting into the next concept. Prabal Kumar.
Hello.
Hi, Prabal. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sir, my question is related to auto scaling.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah. So when we auto scale and scale up the EC2 instances, so if we are running 10 instances at 10 and we have deployed a website or web application on that, and if we add some new instances, can we get the deployment already, or we have to deploy?
Yes. Those instances should be synchronized with other instances, isn't it, Prabal Kumar? Okay. That's what you're talking about. When the new instance is created, when the traffic diverts to that new instance, the new instance should have application and data. Agree?
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Obviously. So that synchronization is handled using synchronization services. Okay.
Okay.
That can be handled using different service providers. Okay.
Okay.
Anything more?
No.
Thank you. Okay. Next, let's understand about the concept of volumes. Let's understand more about the concept of volumes. This is an EC2 machine. Generally, EC2 machines, generally by default, EC2 machine comes with a volume. EC2 machine comes with a volume. Okay. Every EC2 machine by default comes with a volume. So this volume, the default volume is called as a root volume. The default volume is called as a root volume. This is an EC2 machine. This is an EC2 machine, and this EC2 machine will have a volume. Every EC2 machine you can see in the dashboard are having volumes. How many volumes every EC2 machine is having? As of now, we know that the EC2 machine will always have one volume, but you have to know that EC2 machine can have multiple volumes, additional volumes. Okay, these additional volumes are called as EBS volumes. Additional volumes are called as EBS volumes. So EC2 machine by default will have only one volume. Those default volumes are called as what volumes? Root volumes. In case if you want extra volumes, in case if you want additional volumes, those additional volumes are called as EBS volumes. Let's experience it. I want to launch an EC2 machine. Okay, it's an Amazon Linux machine. Fine. It is of T2 micro. Fine. Configure instance details. I want to create only one instance. And here, this next step is important. Add storage. By default, EC2 machine is coming with a volume. And that volume is called as what volume? Root volume. Okay, and one more option, delete on termination is selected. Delete on termination is selected. What does that mean? This means whenever you terminate the EC2 machine, terminating the EC2 machine, you know it is permanently removing the EC2 machine. When you remove the EC2, when you terminate the machine, automatically the corresponding root volume will also be deleted automatically. So that is a default option, delete on termination. So when you remove the EC2 machine, the corresponding root volume will also be removed. But my plan, what I want to show you today is one EC2 machine can have additional volume. Can you see we have an add new volume? Yes, that additional volume. And these additional volumes are called as what volumes? EBS volume. So there are two types of volumes you can see here. One is root volume, the other one is EBS volume. You are not getting root volume because EC2 machine can have only one root volume. You cannot select, there is no option of selecting second root volume. One EC2 machine can have only one root volume. The extra volumes, the additional volumes are called as EBS volumes. EBS stands for elastic block storage. Is called as elastic block storage. So the additional volumes are called as EBS volume. EBS volume can be 8 GB, 20 GB, 100 GB. It's up to you. So for storage, the main difference between root volume and EBS volume, the operating system will be loaded into the root volume. It is something like a C drive. You can compare in your laptop. We have C drive, D drive, E drive, isn't it? So whatever other additional data if you want, we can do it in the EBS volume, but root volume is generally for operating systems and softwares. Okay, so we can have additional volumes also. So this is about additional volume. So let's proceed with the additional volumes. Okay. Let's say additional volume, I want to have 15 GB of additional volume. Okay, fine. Next. And delete on termination, it's up to you whether you want to select it or not. If you select, both will be terminated. If you remove it, it will be available. So it's up to you. Generally, root volume will be deleted on termination. EBS volume, it's up to you whether as per your requirement, you can delete it or you can avoid it. Next, configure security group, fine, review and launch, click on launch, create a new key pair, some number, downloading the key pair and launching the instances. View instances. This is the machine which we have created, right? This is the machine I have created. And this machine is having how many volumes? 2 volumes. Where can we see the 2 volumes that this machine is having? 2 volumes here in the description. You can scroll down. Can you see root device, block device? Root device is nothing but root volume. Block device is nothing but the EBS volume. So, or you can also see that in the volumes information, in the attachment information. Scroll down. I have created machine 2, right? What is the name of the machine? Machine 2. Can you see how many volumes are there? Can you see this is machine 2, this is machine 2. Both the volumes are there, isn't it? and one volume will be root volume, one volume will be EBS volume, and you can see one volume, 15 GB is EBS volume, the other GB is nothing but the root volume. Are you understanding? Okay. So like this, one EC2 machine can have multiple volumes, and I have shown you one volume will be root volume. The other volumes are called as EBS volumes. Root volume is generally operating system will be loaded. So you're clear about this. If you want, you can detach the volume. If you want, you can detach the volume. Obviously, you cannot detach the root volume because the operating system will be in the root volume. You can detach the additional volume that is called as EBS volume. How can we detach the volume? For example, 15 GB is the volume, right? This is the EBS volume. Okay, in the attachment information, it is very clear. It is of size 15 GB, and then okay, attachment information, it is attached to this particular instance. Fine, I want to detach this volume. It's up to you. You can detach the volume. You can visualize something like an external hard disk. Okay, whenever you are done, whenever you don't want, we have an option of detach volume. Are you sure you want to detach the volume? Yes, I want to detach the volume. This 15 GB, we are detaching it from the instance. Let's wait for the volume to get detached. The state is available. That means it is detached. It is not used. In use is nothing but it is used by the EC2 machines. But this particular volume, as we have detached, it is available. Okay. Now, if you want, you can attach it to same instance. If you want, you can attach it to different instance. Go to actions, attach volume. If you want, you can attach it to same instance. You can attach it to different instance. I want to attach this time to the same instance, that is machine 2. Click on attach. Again, I am attaching the volume. Again, it will be in use. Can you see previously it was not in use? It was available. Now it has in use. Like this, you can attach and you can attach volume, and then you can detach the volume, and you can attach it to same instance. In fact, you can attach it to other instances also. You can play around with this volume. So AWS is pretty simple. Understand the concept, spend some time doing hands-on, doing experiment, read documentation. You'll get more and more information about how exactly AWS helps in managing the infrastructure for the client. The next thing what we need to learn is about snapshots. Obviously, we cannot complete the snapshots in today's session. This concept of snapshots, let's keep it for tomorrow's class. Let's not discuss for today's session. Let's keep that for tomorrow's session. So that we have completed our agenda. Only one point is missing, that is snapshots. Snapshots is very, very important concept. We'll discuss about the snapshots and region specific dashboard. Right now, from day one, we are dealing with only one region called as Mumbai region. So we'll have more exposure towards how can we have different regions. Can we create infrastructure in different regions? How can we do that? So that's all about handling multiple regions. So that's a plan for tomorrow's session. Any questions on today's class? Please raise your hand.
Hey Sunil,
Yes,
Ramana
Ramana.
here. I have a question regarding the billing part.
Okay.
I created a free tier account.
Mhm.
So I created around 4 or 5 my virtual EC2 instances, Windows and Linux based. So I stopped all my instances before I am logging out.
Okay.
But what happening is my consumption is 95%.
Yes. Generally, many people think that when we stop the instances, it is not build. Stopped instances are also build. So you have to terminate.
Terminate. Okay. So the
If you
storage
want
is
to,
occupying.
yes, storage is occupying. So whether you are using it or not, AWS has allocated infrastructure to you, isn't it? That's the reason they are billing you, Ramnamurthy. So what you have to do, please terminate the instance. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sandeep Ramini.
Yes, Sunil.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you very much for providing this training.
Thank you, Sandeep.
My first question is like in the today's session we discussed regarding the instance checks and the status checks, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just created one load balancer, and before two days before there was a session regarding load balancer, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just created two EC2 instances and a load balancer. So I was I experienced the load balancer practically.
Okay.
But but the thing is that what I seen is like when we have used one when you created one more instance, you on the while creating the instance you have used that bootstrap scripts, right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So when I've done the same way, I was unable to get that created. But however, if I do practically, like again logging into Puttigen and then Putty and then installing all those commands, I was able to create. So
Okay.
I don't understand what is the
Your bootstrap scripts have failed. Okay.
Yeah. So
Point
how
one,
to
which operating system you have used?
same Linux only.
Same whatever I'm using it in the
Same thing.
recording.
Same
So
Linux
as it is
only.
you are doing it.
Yeah, same thing.
And then there's one more symbol in the first line /bin/bash. Have you used that?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, I got that I got that
Generally
out and
people
I
miss that. Okay. So
yeah, I got that out and I
this
have used that.
particular line should be
Yes,
mandatory.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is also used, but still I don't see like the web this is got
No,
installed in the.
generally after creating an EC2 machine using the bootstrap scripts, you need to give some time, minimum 3 to 4 minutes. Okay. Probably you have not given some time. Okay. That's the reason it has not got updated individually. Okay. Try one more time. You do something. Don't worry about load balancer. Try one more EC2 machine with bootstrap scripts. Okay.
Is there
Wait.
any way? Sorry to interrupt. Is there any way to monitor it from the console, like whether it got installed or not? Like instead of logging into the server.
No. There is no such option. Okay. Once it is created, you need to check it and experience it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, let me try then. Yeah.
Okay. So how is your hands-on and learning going on?
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
is it new for you or is it you already know AWS?
No, I am not. I'm new to this one. Earlier, I just had a corporate just 1-2 days basic concept training. That's it. It's not like I don't have any hands-on on this one.
Okay.
I just started with your.
Now you're learning more and more. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So please maintain the momentum till the last session. Okay, so that you can get the best of the training.
Okay.
Okay, and do hands-on also. That will be very good
Sure,
for you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep. Okay, so and as mentioned in the chat box, DevOps is starting next week. Okay, so all the details about the fees, everything I have mentioned. Interested, you can join the WhatsApp group. Anyways, you get the DevOps information in the AWS groups also. Okay, so yes, freshers can also get the job in AWS. Not at all. Yes. Naga. Can you hear me, Naga?
Yes. Hi, Sunil. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing well. You're trying to talk to me from 6 days?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, but actually, I want to join the WhatsApp group today. Okay.
Today you're able to join, right?
Yeah. I got the link in chat box.
Yes.
Yeah, WhatsApp. And can you share DevOps details also in chat box?
I already have posted. No? I already have
I
posted
did not
DevOps details in the chat box. One more time, I'll do it.
see.
Before the
Yeah,
start of
Can
today's
you...
class. Before the start of today's class.
Okay. Okay, I joined late.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is your learning going on?
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
And more,
We cannot hear your voice.
Is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Your explanation and the teaching and everything is also wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, your sessions also wonderful.
Okay.
If
you are happy with my training, please pay 999 rupees and get the recordings.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and it is there in the chat box. Now the DevOps details, as you have mentioned. I hope you got it, Naga.
Yes, I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And can I get the any dumps on AWS solution?
Once you pay 999, once you pay that amount, you get not only recordings, you get the notes and dumps and PowerPoint slides, and these notes which I'm using as part of the training. Everything you'll get it.
Okay, how to pay that one?
You are already in the WhatsApp group, no? I already have. Okay, today you have joined. You get the.
Today I will join.
You get the payment link in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Anything more, Naga?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fine. And is it training only solution architect and developer everything also?
No, this is solutions architect associate level.
Okay.
This is AWS training. Okay.
Okay, solution architect in the professional is also there, right? Am I right?
Yeah, solution architect, there are 2 levels, associate level and professional level. Okay, 70% will be the same syllabus, 25% syllabus changes.
Okay, I have one doubt. sysops and developer and solution architect.
Both are different.
Which is first one?
No matter any experience, you may be a developer or Linux administrator, network administrator, or this is the first course I recommend everybody. Okay, this is something knowledge we should have it. Okay, no, these are the basic services we should be good at, and then you can select your course according to your specialization. Okay.
Okay, anything.
Anything. You can go for sysops or DevOps or you can say security specialist or big data specialist, whatever it is. But this is something standard foundational course.
Okay.
Okay, Naga. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay. Thank you all and see you tomorrow.
Yes, Sunil, last question. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we are attaching these EBS volumes and detaching, right? So I mean, are we billable for this?
Yes. I am ready for billing. So I just want to showcase this experience. So I got the bill. I pay for the bill. But if you terminate it, there's a minimum bill you'll get it something like 20 rupees or 40 rupees at the end of the month. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye, everybody.